All right, after a few weeks of radio silence and not really making any videos because the world was a little more absurd than it usually is, I'm back. The regularly scheduled programming under this insane heat wave that's been hitting France for the past like 2-3 days. Now, I was born in a very warm country, like very, very warm. But this is next level. I don't think I'd ever seen or felt this kind of heat. Not even when I was in Marseille. Whew. Okay, let's talk show. As of today, I have roughly, I'd say 3 months, if I'm lucky, 3.5 months, to finish writing, recording, engineering, mixing and mastering, and technically releasing a full album. I have to write down the parts and the sections and like the music stuff for the band. I have to finish the contract work for the venue, talk to the light people and the sound people to have an incredibly amazing light show. And yesterday was my last official meeting of the academic year, which means I'm not a teacher until September again, which gives me ample time for now. It's burger time, and I gotta go to university because a good friend of mine is defending his master's thesis, which I did last year, almost to date. I can't believe it's been a year and so many things have happened. Lunchtime. I started planning this whole thing, I want to say maybe in May or April, essentially a few months ago. I started writing the songs. We even started rehearsing a bunch of months ago, albeit a part of the rehearsals that we had at that time was for the festival, which we didn't get in. But still, the idea was to prepare and to have like our heads in the game. As for right now, as for today, as for these days, well, I want to say in terms of preparation, we're in a very good place. Turns out running a show, like organizing paperwork, the contracts, the advertisement, the campaigning, the tickets, the security, all of that. Turns out that it's not gonna be a one person job. I have help, and I know when the time comes, as sometimes it has, I can delegate certain things to a couple of the friends, a couple of my bandmates, and that, like the feeling that you can rely on people and then they can actually get the thing done, so good. I don't think of myself as some crazy control freak, perfectionist. I need to do it my way or just no other way, but I think everybody can agree that whatever you do needs to have a certain level of quality. You can't just improvise everything that you're doing 24/7. There's got to be a degree of code and protocol, which brings me to my biggest challenge of this whole project. There's an expression, maybe you've heard of it, and that is, art is never finished, it's only abandoned. Which simply means at some point during the creative process, you're just gonna have to let it go in favor of having the project, the artwork finished or done or available. Which, as you can imagine, it's a snake, it's eating its own tail. It's like a paradox, it's like an oxymoron. Meaning that on one hand, you want to finish the project to make sure that you're meeting the deadlines. On the other hand, it's a work of art. You want to make sure that the thing you're putting out is just worthy of people's time and money this time, because directly we are going to sell merch That includes like the CDs of the fourth album, the dreaded fourth album that I started writing like 5 years ago and could never finish because, well, there was a plague for a few years, and then there was me changing continents and time zones and immigrating and all of this. And now, I guess, what's the expression? The chickens come home to roost. And my question is this: like, how can I find the moment or pinpoint the exact time where what we've been doing or what we will have been doing is enough? And that's gonna be, it's good for post-production, publishing, printing, and all of that. And I don't know, because for the past year I've released one song each month, and a lot of times a big portion of those songs I had written a long time ago, and 1 month for one song for me was doable, was enough, more or less. Now I have to finish everything, 7, 8, 9 songs in 3 months and make them sound as good as they can sound. And it's the problem. It's like the feeling overwhelmed that is a little challenging, to say the least. Now let's go and be present for my friend and his defense session. I think one of my master classes was in this room, and now I'm attending a defense session at Buddy with my friends. I don't want to film the defense session, obviously. They're preparing the things, but interesting. The session is over. He got the result he wanted, and I'm happy for him. A couple hours, I heard that a bunch of schools in this city had to close today because of the excessive heat, which is, I think it's the first time I'm hearing this in France, that in this region, because this region is relatively close to the Alps, the mountains, and it's generally cool. But yeah, this summer has been, so far, on its early days, incredibly hot. Now, the plan is to get some water, get some cold beverages that are sugar-free and low calories, so I can consume them without feeling guilty, and get back to working on the show. I'm trying to fill you in back home. It is the next day, it is morning. Yeah, yesterday when I got home, I couldn't finish, I couldn't work as much as I wanted to, mostly because I was working in segments. I was taking breaks because it was unbelievably hot, and it is still very hot today. However, I think today feels a little less insane. Now I have a meeting very early on campus, which gives me, and the meeting isn't with me really. They want the computer, they want to, the university issued laptop needs some upgrades or whatever, which gives me ample time. Hopefully nobody's there. I'm going to sit down, bring out paperwork, read some stuff, write some stuff down, and see how the situation develops. I think this is the worst weather pattern I've ever seen in my entire life, and I don't think it's a joke. I don't think I'm exaggerating by saying that. I don't know how much water I've consumed in the past 48 hours, but it's definitely probably an unhealthy amount. That's the bus. The path I should take to the IT department is maybe 20 minutes of walking, but I decided to go for a bus ride. Just not because I'm lazy or anything, only because it has air conditioner and I needed to just breathe a little bit. I'm on the campus now, and like at this time of the year, like 99% of the exams are finished. It is, I think this is the last week of like office work, meaning that even like the non-academic buildings, like normal buildings, administrative stuff, etc., is also about to end, and university becomes this courtyard of nothingness. See, nobody's here. Absolute quiet. And I need to go in that building there, the window up top. That's gonna be where I'm going. All right, I gave them the laptop. Bonjour. Bonjour. And they'll call me like an hour and a half once the process is finished, which means I have 1 hour and a half to work, which is awesome. So the plan for the show is simple. Plan is simple. Go do a good show and come back. But the road to that show, like to the end of that plan, is ridiculously difficult, as it turns out. Because back in my old country, we would have different kinds of problems, and now those problems do not exist whatsoever. Instead, in their place, there are new problems. There are new challenges. Let me explain. In the old country, when we wanted to do a show, we needed a bunch of permissions and contracts and monitoring processes that oftentimes would take up to like 4 months just for the lyrics to be confirmed and to be validated. Because in the old country, you needed official permission for the instruments, the songs, the individuals who are on stage, the lyrics, all of it. Like the level of, I'm going to use a word, mandated security here was very, very high. Like a ton of things that had nothing to do with the concept of music itself or the show. Fun fact, back then when we were able to do shows, there was a specific clause in the performance contract that certain things you're not allowed to use certain things or do certain things on stage. One of them was you were not allowed to use the color red in your lighting. It sounds absurd, I agree with you, but it was a part of the conversation. Here, on the other hand, you just walk up to the venue and you talk to the people and you say, hey, I want to do a show. They say, sure. Next availability is in 9 months, because every night there's a show. There's like an event, or sometimes there's 2, sometimes there's 3, which was our case when I approached the venue. I don't remember when it was, but it was very early in the year. And they said, we can maybe offer you something in like October or November. I think at that time it was maybe February, which is a different kind of challenge in and out of itself, but step by step. The next thing was the contract work and the legal work. I am in France, as you can imagine, the legal procedure is very different than pretty much anywhere else in the world. Tons of things to work on, tons of things to write, to sign, etc. It is very hot. And these have nothing to do with music itself. These are just the usual things. Right? Do you want this light person or that light person? Do you want this sound person or that sound person? This front of the house or that front of the house? Like these amps and cabs and arrays or those. And it's awesome. It's really cool because you feel like an adult. You know, you feel like your actions actually have impact. Your decisions have weight, but at the same time, having a ton of imposter syndrome and self-doubt, you keep wondering if you're making the correct calls, or never mind the fact that everything is like price-wise is an interesting tale, let's say. So I managed to get some work done, and the work laptop is now fully migrated into the 21st century. Well, You know what I mean? It was Windows 10, now it's Windows 11, which is whatever. And I was able to like progress a little bit in the planning. The good thing is, like, the good news in all of this is we have the set list. We know which songs we want to play in which order. I need to probably like create a separate folder and put all the lyrics and all the sections in it. Maybe print them out and have like a folder, like a physical folder, so I can peruse through if it's necessary. Because as much as I love technology and modern world, some things I like the tactile feeling of a pen or a pencil and paper. I'm gonna wait for the bus, which should be here in around a minute or two. Get back home, and that's the bus home. Now, there's one question that's been stuck with me for quite a while, and that is the question of, like, does it even matter? Let me explain. I think by the time you're watching this video, it should be July, and a couple weeks prior to this date, there was this huge, I guess you could call it, scandal on Spotify about a band that was very successful. Their songs were being played, people were liking what they were hearing, but it turned out that everything for that band was AI generated, was not real. There was no human in that loop. Maybe there was some person writing prompts and stuff, but what I'm trying to say is that something that became successful on a competing side of things for me was not human, because AI is a thing. And here I am working long hours, sometimes late into the night, past midnight, writing down notes, correcting them, putting stuff on paper, deleting. It's just, ultimately the question I want to ask is, like, what is any of this worth it? Like, should I stress less about these details? At some point we should just let it go, you know? That is a question. Anyway, if you're watching this video, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Please, if you could, do the YouTube thing. I will be seeing you very soon. Stay safe, stay sane, wherever you are, whenever you are. And yeah, peace.